Today I would love to talk to you a bit about my journey when it comes to being pregnant and also breastfeeding at the same time. So I started breastfeeding with Magnus. He is currently 1 year and 7 months and is still being breastfed occasionally. So we breastfeed before naps and before going to bed, and sometimes in the mornings as well. So it's really up to him. We practice something called baby-led weaning. So he was exclusively breastfed up until the age of around 6 months, and then he decided that he wanted to start trying foods, and this is when we introduced foods. And it was a beautiful natural process of introducing food, and also a very nice way for him to really enjoy the process of eating and have a very good relationship with food, which I believe is really important. Breastfeeding essentially focuses on the needs of the child, and yeah, I'm sure not everyone out there breastfeeds, and that's okay. This is me sharing my journey, and hopefully it can inspire or help answer a few questions that some of you might have. So breastfeeding focuses on the needs of the baby, and this focuses on factors such as nutrients, immunity, and also connection. So you really develop a very special bond just by having your child close to you and in this intimate setting. Breastfeeding can be seen as a really beautiful dialogue between two individuals where no words are needed, and a lot of information is exchanged, so much so that saliva from the baby is actually indicating to the mother the type of nutrients that that baby needs in the moment, including also the kind of immunity that that baby needs. So this is a very beautiful and intimate flow of information. So the baby feeds information to the mom feeds information back into the baby. And this is just how nature intended it, and it's actually quite incredible because it's had so many years of research and development is found in the human body at this stage in our existence that, yeah, this is the result of it. So a lot of people believe that just because you're breastfeeding, you can't get pregnant, and that's one of the most ridiculous myths, I believe. It's not true. So in my case, my menstrual cycle started again exactly 1 month after Magnus was born. Exclusively breastfeeding Magnus didn't impact my menstrual cycle, so it just continued as usual. Every woman is different. When Magnus was 1 year and 2 months, I got pregnant with my second child, the one I'm currently carrying. And you go through different stages. In the first trimester, Magnus became really attached to me, and he wanted to breastfeed a lot more than he used to. I think that has to do a lot with this unspoken dialogue that you have between a breastfeeding mother and a child, where my body was kind of letting Magnus know that another human being is coming soon. And his reaction was to be attached and to be closer and to hold on in a way. It was beautiful and a bit taxing on my energy at the same time, but then that also evolved. In the second trimester, Magnus went back to his usual feedings, which is essentially before naps or when he's being put to sleep. Sometimes he doesn't even ask for a feeding during nap time, but usually before we go to bed, and when we wake up, that's when he has his feeding times. Now that we're in the second trimester, approaching the third trimester, I can also see a reduction in my production of milk. So naturally he's asking for it much less. Now that we're entering the third trimester, I believe that Magnus will want to feed less and less. In fact, I can already see it. So he doesn't really spend as much time feeding as he used to. And this is the beauty of nature, right? So we just have to trust that it's all going to work out, and stressing out is not going to help. especially since all the stress hormones are also released into the breast milk, and essentially your child will be triggered by that. If there's one tip I could give you, is that make sure that your clothing, the clothes you wear, are actually breastfeeding sensible, meaning I always have to think about how accessible my boobs are to my child when I choose my outfits. So a few of my clothing before I got pregnant and before I started breastfeeding, I don't really wear right now. It's funny to think about it, right? You wake up in the morning and the first thing you think about is, what shall I wear based on how easily my boob can be accessible. But yeah, essentially that is what it is. One other breastfeeding essential that I found to be really crucial for me is having a support pillow. So there are these breastfeeding pillows which are kind of like a U-shaped that you can put around you, and you can get support while you breastfeed, and that's really helpful, especially for your posture and for holding the baby and for making sure that you don't get any muscle spasms. Another thing I've used is the Medela breast pump. So I have pumped a bit. I didn't really pump too much with Magnus, just because I was always close by, so I could always breastfeed him. I think I've pumped only a handful of times. Now we'll see what will happen with the continuation of the journey, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'll be pumping a bit more this time, just because my hands are a bit fuller now. So this next one, I wouldn't say it's an essential, but for me it actually is. It's more a tip and of some friendly advice. So before I gave birth, I had a conversation with a doula who really educated me on proper latching and the importance of proper latching, so as to have a good and beautiful breastfeeding journey. And I will try and find some information and link it below so that you guys can check it out. I hope this has been helpful, and if there are any other tips that you guys have or would like to share your breastfeeding and being pregnant experience, please let me know.